I'm going to now get an expert on board to talk more about this. Here's Vishwas Patel, who's joining us live right here on Startup Central. Vishwas, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much. Let me get your initial reaction. A 1,500 crore rupee push for e-payments. One way of looking at it is, what is that when you have 200 million active UPI users? But I'm sure it's better than zero.
It's a very welcome step, and if you've seen in India, acquiring is a big issue. Issuance is not a problem. So acquiring to put money where it's really required is, I think, 1,500 crores will go a long way in increasing the acceptance bit, as well as it will help in if some part of the money is used in reimbursing for the UPI and that other UPI and rupay debit card, what we have been processing for free over the last year.
So would this be, according to your understanding, primarily for acquiring new customers?
Yes, specifically, I think that's where the main, it very clearly says to increase the acceptance base. So if you look at the clear words that has been written, said that it has to incentivize digital payments.
Now, Vishwas Patel, I remember, about a year ago, you and I discussing how the zero MDR regime was actually hurting the entire fintech space. That's not gone away. So at a time when there can be no charge for this digi transactions that you're seeing with merchants and all of that, can this fund, this 1,500 crore rupee announcement in the budget, be seen as a way of offsetting the loss from MDR, the troubles that you're continuing to see from MDR?
We have to see in clear terms how this money is allocated. There is a 500 crore payment infrastructure development fund which RBI and the card networks are putting in to increase the acceptance base. I believe some part of this money will definitely go in helping in increasing that base or topping up that PIDF fund of RBI.
But from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, especially the arithmetic, is the trouble now from a zero MDR regime worth almost 5,000 crore rupees, then what is 1,500 crore rupee offset in front of that?
Yes, it is, but I think some kind of a subvention, be it for processing all these rupay debit cards and UPI, will go in a long way in at least minimizing the loss suffered by the payment service providers.
I'm going to ask you to simplify it. A lot of our audience is also young founders. It's also consumers and those who use fintech, right? What exactly is the issue? Why is it that the industry is unhappy with zero MDR? How is this budget announcement going to try and at least take away some of the pain? Simplify it for us.
So essentially, you see, post the zero MDR in the last budget, so from January of 2020, UPI and rupay debit cards were processed for free by all the PSPs, all the payment service providers. So there was no money made in processing those transactions. It was a COVID year, pandemic year, and everybody did their bit in supporting and growing the UPI, rupay bit, and we process it for free. But somewhere down the line, if you see the balance sheets of all the fintech players, all of us are making a lot of losses, right? And anything free will not grow. Rupay debit card, if you see the issuance part is reducing vis-a-vis the other international card schemes that are there. If you see on the UPI is growing because it's cannibalizing the any kind of a debit mechanism to a bank account. It's cannibalizing check, demand draft, pay orders, even RTGS and IMPS. So that way UPI is growing. But still, that processing the entire thing for all the ecosystem providers to make some revenue take care of the costs and minimize the overall the money that it takes to grow the acceptance with. That revenue is required. So if this money that has been allocated by the Honorable Finance Minister, if it is somewhere used to subvent this MDR that for UPI and Rupay debit cards, it will go a long way in growing a very healthy ecosystem.
Okay, Vishwas Patel, thanks so much for putting that in perspective for us. So that's the government looking to push e-payments, and it's doing so with that 1,500 crore rupee announcement, which many in the industry are seeing it as a way of offsetting the losses being incurred through the zero MDR regime. That continues to be a burning issue.